So as in Fick's first law, I told you the diffusion is measured. Diffusion is considered only one direction. That is only towards the x-axis. That x-axis, that is the distance traveled, it is in dx. It is perpendicular to the membrane or perpendicular to the barrier. But diffusion's second law, in this they have explained, they have considered change in the concentration. Change in concentration with respect to time at a definite location. बघा, change in concentration with time at definite location. Just change in concentration is not considered. Change in concentration is important, but at what time? At what position? At what place? It is measured. This is also considered in the Fick's second law of diffusion. That means मॉलिक्यूलची मूवमेंट होत असताना एका प्लेस पासून दुसऱ्या प्लेस पर्यंत जे काही कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मध्ये चेंज होते, दॅट इज डीसी बाय डीटी, त्या कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मधला चेंज हा जस जसं डिस्टन्स वाढत जाते, जस जसं डिस्टन्स चेंज होते, म्हणजेच काय चेंज होते, तर ज्या पॉइंटचं तुम्ही कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मेजर करणार आहे तो पॉइंट चेंज होतो. लक्षात येते मी काय म्हणतो ते? दॅट चेंज इन डिस्टन्स and whatever the time which is required or as time is spent, आणि मग जस जसा वेळ जाईल, जस जसा टाइम स्पेंड होईल, तस तसं काय होईल तर कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन पण चेंज होईल. म्हणजे एका स्पेसिफिक एरिया मधलं एका स्पेसिफिक टाइमला मॉलिक्यूलचं, ड्रगचं असलेलं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन, दॅट इज चेंज इन कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन विच इज कन्सिडर्ड इन Fick's second law of diffusion. Okay, so as per this, the distance it will be considered maybe towards the x-axis, maybe towards y-axis or z-axis. So we need to mention the exactly by which direction we have measured the distance. So as per this statement of Fick's second law, write down, Fick's second law state that the change in concentration with time in a particular region is proportional to the change in concentration gradient. And very important is at that point of time. Baga, Fick's second law state that change in concentration, we have to determine the change in concentration, but how? With respect to time. Not only with respect to time, the area, the region where we are going to determine, where we are going to measure the change in concentration with respect to time, this area also we have to consider. That means change in concentration we are determining, we are measuring with respect to time and with respect to the area. And एका स्पेसिफिक एरिया मधला जे कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मधला चेंज आहे विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम, तो कसा आहे? इट इज अ प्रोपोर्शनल. That is, it is a directly proportional. For what? Change in concentration gradient. So whatever the concentration gradient, it will get changed at that point. म्हणजे ज्या पॉइंटचं, ज्या रिजनचं तुम्ही चेंज इन कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन डिटरमाइन करणार आहे एका स्पेसिफिक टाइमला, तर त्याचा जो चेंज इन कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन आहे तो कशावरती डिपेंड आहे, तर तो कशावरती प्रोपोर्शनल आहे, तर कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन ग्रेडियंट. कोणता कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन ग्रेडियंट? ज्या पॉइंटचं, ज्या रिजनचं आणि ज्या टाइमचं तुम्ही कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन, चेंजिंग कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मेजर करताय, त्या पोझिशनच्या, त्या कंडेन्शनच्या कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन ग्रेडियंट वरती काय आहे तर तुमचा चेंज इन कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन हा डिपेंडंट आहे. विल सी द डिफ्युजन इक्वेशन. सर, how you can derive this equation? So in this, the particular volume element, if you consider, and if you know that the concentration of that volume element is C, and the change as a result of net flow of molecule into and outside the region. So why changes takes place into the concentration? Because the molecules are moving from outside to inside and inside to outside in the process of diffusion through the membrane, through that barrier. And due to this, what happened? The concentration, it will get changed. So another way we can say that change in concentration we have mentioned, it is an DC. Okay, change in concentration we have mentioned DC, and that DC, that is change in concentration, is due to why it is we are getting the every time it is different, because input and output of the molecules. Okay, we know that in diffusions how the molecules they will get exchanged, and how molecules enter and exist will be takes place through the barrier or diffusion membrane or film. And due to this input and output process or the exchange of the molecules, what happens? We are getting the change in concentration. Initially, if you look towards the process of the diffusion at higher concentration region, we are getting the more concentration of the solute, and the whatever the receptor compartment is there, in receptor compartment you are getting the nil concentration. There is a no any molecule present initially, where at the receptor compartment. So donor compartment is the rich with the concentration of the solute molecules. Okay, so as the process will go on, as the time it will spend, what happen? The molecules they will get diffused from the donor to the receiver, and due to this, what happen? Concentration changes takes place. That is due to the input and output of the molecules. Okay, so at the same time, त्याच वेळेस काय होतं? DC also change with time. बघा, इनपुट आणि आउटपुट मुळे तर कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन मध्ये चेंज होते, पण ती प्रोसेस कशी आहे तर टाइम डिपेंडंट, ऍज इट इज मेन्शन इन द स्टेटमेंट ऑफ Fick's second law. And as the concentration get changed, automatically flux it will get changed, because flux depends upon the concentration, because flux is nothing but the mass transfer or molecules which are moving across the barrier. Okay, at what they are moving, that is again it depends upon the concentration. So as the concentration it depends on the time, definitely flux it will get depends on the time. So it is again mentioned the flux or amount of diffusing molecule changes with distance. This is also important, because concentration in second law of Fick's, he state that as the molecules they will get move towards the any direction, the region it will get changed, region it will get changed, the concentration it will get changed, and whatever the distance which is traveled by these molecules, as per this, what happened? We are getting the change in concentration, and as we are getting the change in concentration with respect to the distance in any direction, definitely we are getting the changes or the variation in the quantity of flux. Okay, so this relationship, how you can express relation between the what? Change in concentration and change in flux. So we can express this relation in the form of dc by dt is equal to minus dj by dx. How this dc by dt it comes? This dc by dt comes from the If you read the statement, in the statement it is mentioned that the change in concentration with time. Let us see. Change in concentration with time, that is dc by dt, which is proportional to what? It is proportional to the changing concentration gradient at that point. And the concentration gradient change होतं म्हणजे काय होतं? रेट ऑफ मास ट्रान्सफर चेंज होतोय. रेट ऑफ मास ट्रान्सफर चेंज होतं म्हणजे काय होतंय? त्या एरियामध्ये असणारा फ्लक्स चेंज होतोय. That's why this statement, this equation is comes. Okay, as per the statements of Fick's second law. Okay, so as we have told that the concentration, it will get changed with respect to distance x and time. That means what happened? This concentration is the function of x and time, that is x and t. Why it is a function of x and t? Because it will get changed as this parameter, that is as the as the time and as the distance x, it will get changed, concentration it will get changed. Okay, so the concentration is the function of distance and time, that is x and t. And on the concentration, flux is different. Flux, it will get changed, or flux we can calculate on the basis of concentration. So as the concentration is the function of x and t, definitely flux, it will be function of x and t. So with these functions you might have studied in the mathematics, limit, integration and derivatives. Okay, how the limit it will exist, if limit exists, what happens in the derivation and what happens into the integration, that is limit, integration, derivative. Okay, whenever we are going to determine or calculate the finite increment, just increment into the quantity or increment into the value, we are determining or we are calculating by the limit, integration, derivative. Okay, so here also that finite increment of the finite change into the concentration, for to determine this we have to consider the x and t as the function. Okay, and in Fick's first law, what is the equation of Fick's first law? J is equal to minus d into dc by dx. If you differentiate this equation, J is equal to minus d into dc by dx, with respect to x, what you will get after differentiation this equation? Dj by dx is equal to, just see, dj by dx is equal to minus d into d square c upon dx square. Okay, this is the differentiate equation of the equation number 2 from the Fick's first law. After differentiating the equation 2 from the Fick's first law with respect to x, we will get this equation, that is dj by dx is equal to minus d into d square c upon dx square. So this equation we got here after differentiating the equation 2. But in equation 4, just look towards this equation 5 and equation 5 which we got from the after differentiating the equation 2. In equation 5, dj by dx we are getting, and if you look towards the equation number 4, dj by dx, these common terms we are getting in the both the equations. Okay, that is dj by dx. So we can substitute the value of dj by dx from the equation number 4 into the equation number 5. Okay, we can substitute value of dj by dx from the equation number 4 into the equation number 5. What is the value of dj by dx as per the equation number 4? It is dc by dt. Okay, so we can put in equation number 5. So equation 5, it will becomes dc by dt is equal to d into d square c upon dx square. Okay, that is minus dj by dx is equal to dc by dt. We have replaced this minus dj by dx with respect to the dc by dt. So as if you put the negative sign here, the sign of the both the side LHS and RHS, it becomes equal. We can remove this. It will show the positive. Okay, so both the sides signs. Now we are getting the positive in the equation number 6. Okay, so this diffusion, this equation 6, we are getting this equation is representing the diffusion as per the Fick's second law. But diffusion second law, it depends upon the distance, region, area. Then which area we have takes, which region we have considered. So this equation, it is represent the diffusion of the molecules of the drug in the direction of x. म्हणजे x च्या डिरेक्शन जेवढं डिफ्युजन झाले त्या डिफ्युजनची व्हॅल्यू if we determine, we will get by this equation. Okay, that is, it is just towards the x axis only. So we can determine the value of diffusion towards the y axis. If we can determine the value of c, that is the diffusion towards the z axis also. So just what we have to do here, we have to consider the y and z coordinates along with the x coordinate. And similarly, if you do the process and if you combine the value of diffusion in all the directions, we will get the this equation. dc by dt, d will be common term. dc by dt is equal to d into d square c upon dx square plus d square c upon dy square plus d square c upon dz square bracket complete. So here what happened? This, if you individually determine initially, let us see here. For the x coordinate, if you determine this equation, it will come. For the y coordinate, this will not come. For the z coordinate, this will not come. So only dc by dt is equal to d into d square c upon dz square. So if you will get the 3 separate equations. Okay, so we can combine these 3 equations, and after combining these 3 equations, we are getting d as a common. Okay, so by this way we got this final equation for the determination of the diffusion as per the Fick's second law in the all directions. We can, let us see, this is the membrane, the molecules which are moving from this side. Okay, so molecules may move towards this side, molecules may move towards this side, molecules may move towards this side. Okay, these are the different coordinates we can consider. So it will be x, this will be y, this will be z. ओके, म्हणजे ह्या डिरेक्शनने काय होऊ शकतं तर डिफ्युजन होऊ शकतं. तुम्ही काय करायचं, सुरुवातीला टुवर्ड्स एक्स डायरेक्शन ओनली, टुवर्ड्स वाय डायरेक्शन ओनली, टुवर्ड्स झेड डायरेक्शन ओनली, and combine these 3 separate equation, we will get the total diffusion in all direction, in all axis as per the Fick's second law. This is overall about the Fick's second law of diffusion. Okay, so this Fick's second law is referred to the changing concentration of the diffusant. In short, what you have to remind, Fick's second law is referred to the changing concentration of diffusant, that is drug molecule, with time. at any distance. Okay, with time at any distance. So what it indicate? It is a non-steady state of flow, because rate of mass transfer, rate of change in concentration, it will get changed with respect to time, it will get changed with respect to the distance, so that we are unable, the system is fails to maintain the constant rate of mass transfer, that is dm by dt. And as we are not getting the constant dm by dt value, the system is non-steady system. Okay, this is overall about the Fick's second law of the diffusion. Let's see in this equation the molecules, they will come, they will get formed, and how as the concentration change, as the distance change. Let's see at the distance x1 and distance x2, this much distance we are getting. Okay, at this point we are getting the concentration, let us see c1. At this point we are getting the concentration c2. That means what happened, there is a difference in concentration. Okay, and this difference in concentration between the points, this point and this point, that is the value of c1 and c2, that difference in concentration, it is considered as a gradient. Okay, so what happened, these values get changed, that is small increment in the volume. Okay, value is change in this both the point at this region and at this region, म्हणजे हे दोन्ही वेगवेगळ्या पॉइंटला काय भेटतात तुम्हाला, C1 and C2 ह्या दोन वेगवेगळ्या कॉन्सन्ट्रेशनच्या व्हॅल्यू भेटतात. So what happened, as the value of concentration change, so at this position what is the flux we are getting, that is J1, definitely it will be vary with these positions. So as the changing concentration gradient, it will influence on the flux also. Okay, so as per the, what you can say, that as per the statement, the changing concentration, it is proportional to the changing concentration gradient. Okay, so this is the about the Fick's second law of diffusion. So as in last lecture, just I will brief what are the driving force which are involved, that is the concentration that is in passive diffusion and drug dissolution, mass transfer due to the random motion of molecule across the concentration gradient. Okay, this will act as an driving force. In drug dissolution also, the disintegration, degradation will take place, fine particles, diffusion of drug from the small particles, dissolution and absorptions that we have discussed in the factors affecting solubility. Then in the pressure, osmotic pressure and pressure driven, that is again related to the driving force. Then temperature, lyophilization and microwave assisted extractions. Electrical potential, if you can apply the different electrical potential at two different points. So through this, what happened, due to the difference in the potential difference, the molecules, they will start to the oppositely charged, and the movement of the molecules, again what happened, the drug, it will get move or it will get diffuse. Okay, so in, now pay attention, as the drug is get diffused into the human body or into the biological system, this is very, very important. As the diffusion of drug or transport of the drug through the gastrointestinal membrane, as in last lecture I have told you, whatever the drugs which is administered by the oral route of administration, it has to pass through the gastrointestinal barrier. Why it have to pass through the gastrointestinal barrier? Because it have to reach into the systemic circulation, that is into the blood. So to get enter into the blood, the drug has to pass or overcome the gastrointestinal barrier. And you know that in anatomy we have studied what is the composition of the gastrointestinal barrier, what is the structure of gastrointestinal barrier. It is simply we can say that it is a lipoidal protein and lipoproteins. It is a complex structure of lipids, proteins and lipoprotein and somewhat polysaccharide. Okay, but most of the nature of the gastrointestinal barrier is the lipoidal in nature. And that lipoidal nature, let's see. This lipoidal nature is containing the pores. Look towards this small pores we are getting into the lipoidal membrane, or also some carriers for the in this picture for the transport of the proteins, such types of the carriers which are present. And this lipoidal system is there. In this we are getting the polar, that is phospholipids, hydrophilic region, that is the polar head, and non-polar tail, that is the lipophilic region. This is the overall about the composition or the structure of the lipoidal barrier. So look into this another picture. This is just for your information. In this intestinal, the cells, this is one cell, and this is the second cell, and this is the third cell, fourth cell, and fifth cell. These cells which are arranged into the series, and through this at the surface the tight junction will be there. So what happens? There is a scope to diffuse the molecules in between the two cells, in between the two cells, so that we can utilize the terminology paracellular. Paracellular means in between the two cells. And if the molecules, it will get diffused through the cell, or if we will cross over the cell, we can say it is an transcellular. So by the transcellular, this will be possible mechanism into the transcellular. So the drugs, it will get diffused, or it will get passed either by the paracellular or transcellular mechanism, and it will reach to the systemic circulation. Just here. The diffusion may be active diffusion, passive diffusion, facilitated diffusions. So in the passive diffusion, if you look towards this is the membrane, cell membrane. We can say it is the plasma membrane or the gastrointestinal membrane. In these gastrointestinal membranes, these phospholipids, again, these are lipoproteins, the polar head, non-polar tail. We know that the fluid mosaic model of the cell. So as per this fluid mosaic model of the cells, through these pores, let's see towards this arrow, how the drugs, it will get passed from the higher concentration to the lower concentration across this cell membrane. Okay, here drug is moving from the higher concentration to the lower concentration across the cell membrane. Just see, just observe this picture. Through these pores, the molecules which are moving, look towards these molecules which are entering through the pores here also. Just see how the movement of the molecules, or how the molecules, they will get crossed. So one more thing we observe here, the concept of diffusion, it will be clear here only. So just see the movement of these molecules. The molecules are moving in the random directions. The direction of the movement or motion of these molecules is not in a one directions. Okay, these molecules, they are moving in the random directions. That is the, we can say it is in the Brownian motion. So as this word I have explained, I have mentioned it to the first slide of the diffusion principle in biological system. So as these molecules are moving or in the motion, in the random motions, they are get attack or they will get exposed to this membrane, and wherever they are getting the opening, pores, channels, they will get pass, they will get diffuse. So one more thing you can observe here, the size of the molecules. Just see, these are the larger size molecules. They are getting diffused? Not. They are not getting diffused. They are not getting pass or transport through this membrane. So let us see, this is an entire tablet after administration. From this entire tablets, we will get the small pieces, that is after disintegration. And at the end, we are getting these smaller molecules of the drug, which are freely available into the solution, that is into the gastric fluid. And these molecules, okay, now these molecules are able, their size is, molecular size is sufficient, which will get passed through these openings, which will get passed through this intracellular or paracellular mechanism of the diffusion. Okay, this is the how the diffusion is takes place. Just imagine, this is the tablet, the disintegration of the tablet, it will be takes place. After disintegration, dissolution will takes place. After dissolution, this tablet, it will get passed into the systemic circulation, that is into the blood. Okay, let's see the blue color, this solvent we are getting in the blue color. That means what happens, the concentration of the drug, concentration of the solute, it is more in these regions, and from this region the concentration is reaching to the inside the cell or into the systemic circulation. तुम्हाला असा प्रश्न पडला असेल की मग इथून ड्रग मॉलिक्युल्स इथे मूव्ह होतात, मग अशी एक सिच्युएशन येईल, अशी एक इक्विलिब्रियम कंडिशन येईल की दोन्ही साइडचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन काय असेल तर सेम असेल. ओके, डेफिनेटली क्वेश्चन विल बी इन युअर माइंड. असा प्रश्न तुम्हाला पडू शकतो, नो डाऊट. मग काय होत असेल इथं? सो इन डिफ्युजन वी हॅव स्टडीड वन टर्मिनॉलॉजी, दॅट इज सिंक condition. So what happens in sync condition? The concentration of the receptor compartment, it is less. The concentration of the drug or the solute into the receptor compartment, it is less as compared to the donor compartment. Let us see, if you consider the concentration of the donor compartment, it is an C1. Concentration of the receptor compartment, it is an C2. So in sync condition, in this region concentration in the receptor compartment, it is less, that is C2 is less than the C1. So how you can write this? C1 is greater than C2. So these conditions we have to maintain, and these conditions we can say that it is an sync condition. मग तुम्ही म्हणताल मग हे ड्रग कुठे जातं? How the sync condition it is maintained, because as the drug is reaching towards the blood from the GIT, so once the drug is reached to the blood, that blood it will supply through this blood the drug and the molecules, these are transported, these are distributed into the various parts of the body, and as the drug it will get distributed via blood into the various parts of the body, what happen? The sync condition at this region, it will be maintained automatically into the body, and we are able to maintain the concentration gradient between the donor compartment and receiver compartment, that is from the GIT and systemic, that is blood. Okay, so here we are able and naturally in body, by this way sync condition is maintained and diffusion of the drug, that is absorption of the drug through the intestinal membrane or gastrointestinal membrane, it will takes place, and drug it will reach to the systemic circulation. This is very very important concept and very very important application with respect to diffusion in pharmacy. Why it is necessary to study the diffusion system in pharmacy. Okay, understood? So another way, this is just for your understanding. In active transport, what happen? ATP's energy is required. We know that difference between the passive diffusion and active diffusion. You might have studied in the biochemistry and you might have studied into the 11th, 12th or 10th. What is diffusion, active transport, passive transport, facilitated diffusion, carrier mediated diffusions. So this is just for your understanding. In the active transport, what happens? Energy is required. So from this, energy is provided. Just look towards this. Energy is provided to the molecules, so that what happen? The ATPs which are utilized, and ATPs, these are get converted into the ADP. So this concept is this process of the active transport. It is an energy dependent process. Okay. So this is the facilitated diffusion. We can say that, or the channel. Here also we can observe, this is the one opening, this is one opening. Let's see, depending upon the size, the molecules which are moving, and depending upon the charge, the molecules are moving. Let's see, these molecules is not able to move from this region. This is only move from this region only, because the opening and the pores size which is sufficient to get past these molecules. These molecules, it will get passed through this membrane, through this opening. Okay. So what are the membrane proteins which are available on this membrane? Depending on this, the molecules, they will get transport and diffuse depending upon the opening, that is depending upon the pore size and the size of molecules. In diffusions, we have studied that larger size molecules and the heavy molecules, that is the proteins, it is difficult to the transport of such types of the molecules. So they will get diffused through these specific channels or the specific carriers, that is into the facilitated diffusion. So just see, have a listen the terminology dialysis or the filtration. In application of the diffusion, I have told this. So what happened in this process? The membrane is utilized. Through this membrane, the process is carried out. Just see here how the molecules, they will get exchanged, and how the purification process is takes place, or how the reabsorption takes place through this membrane or to this barrier. That is the, we can say that dialysis, or we can say that the filtration, ultra purification, where exactly what happens, and how the reabsorption it takes place into the body, that is from urine to blood, blood to urine, how molecules they will get exchanged. Okay, let's see, these larger molecule size are not able to get diffused through this barrier. Just these smaller size molecules, they are get exchanged, that is the input and output. Okay. So what is the difference between the passive transport and active transport, as we have studied up till now? The passive diffusion, it will get directly enter, there is no need of the energy. In passive, it will get passed to the opening. In facilitated, we need to the provide the facility, that is the carriers, okay, channels, this, as you have seen in the earlier slide. And in active transport, we need to utilize the energy, that is ATP, and these ATPs are get converted into the ADP. That is the, what is the difference between the active diffusion and passive diffusion, that is active transport and passive transport, and also in the facilitated diffusion. So as I have told you, into the diffusion of the drug or absorption of the drug, from the GIT to the blood. In this equation is applicable. dC by dt is equal to dPs into C1 minus C2 upon dx, where just C1 is, this equation is similar to the Fick's first law. So just in place of the C, we have utilized the C1 and C2. C1 is the concentration of the drug into the GIT, and C2 is the concentration of the drug into the blood. That is difference between the C1 and C2. It will act as an concentration gradient, and as I told you, C1 must be greater as compared to the C2. Then only the process of diffusion, then only the process of absorption of the drug, it will get continue through the gastrointestinal barrier. Okay. So next is the measurement of diffusion. How you can measure the diffusion? So we can get the different diffusion cells, horizontal cell, vertical diffusion cells. Out of this, we are going to discuss here the Franz diffusion cell. So as earlier I have told you, the diffusion cell, the important spaces which are required: one donor compartment is required, one receiver compartment is required, and to separate this donor compartment and receiver compartment, one barrier, that is membrane, is required. Okay, that is donor compartment, receiver compartment, and to separate this donor compartment and receiver compartment, one film, that is barrier, which is required. Okay, and through this, just see into the another figure. Let us see here. This is the donor compartment. This is donor compartment, which is here. Donor compartment, which is here, and this is the receiver compartment, which is here. And this receiver compartment and donor compartment, which is separated by the membrane, and the membrane is present here. Okay, so that membrane, that is nothing but the barrier. So we can take any membrane, biological membrane. We can take the stratum corneum. Okay, we can take the buccal mucosa. We can take the human skin for the transdermal absorption or the penetration of the drug. Okay, whatever the human skin which we are getting after the process of the autopsy, that is the after postmortem. Okay, that skin also we can utilize as a membrane, or the some synthetic membranes also we can utilize. For example, polyvinyl chloride acyl, polyvinyl acetate acyl, such types of the membrane we can utilize. And if you set this membrane in between the, if you fix this membrane in between the donor and receptor compartment. So second important condition is that as we are determining in vitro, that is we are mimic the situation exactly which is happening into the body. बॉडीमध्ये जसं ड्रगचं ऍब्झॉर्प्शन होतं, बॉडीमध्ये जसं डिफ्युजन होतं, तशी सिच्युएशन तुम्ही काय करता, त्याची मिमिक्री करण्याचा प्रयत्न करताय इन विट्रो, दॅट इज आउटसाइड द बॉडी. सो इन बॉडी what is important condition is temperature. So we have to maintain the temperature of the system is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, and to maintain the temperature of the systems, we can provide the water jacket outside this membrane. Okay, and this in water jacket continuously we have to circulate the water so that temperature of the system it will get maintained. So as the time it will get spent, the drug it will get diffused, it will get penetrate, it will get passed, it will get transport through this membrane, and it will reach to the receptor compartment. So what happens, you have to frequently, that is after, at the time initially at time t0 we draw the sample from this sampling port, and determine its concentration by using UV, that is UV spectroscopy. We can determine the concentration of the drug or the molecules which is present into the receptor compartment. So after specific period of time, we can set the frequency of the time 30 minutes. Okay, that is initially 0 time, after 30 minutes, after 1 hour, after 190 minutes, 120 minutes. If you just determine the sample, we draw the sample and determine its concentration. So that will indicate the absorption of the drug into the receptor compartments. And one more thing, in diffusion, lots of time I have told you, it is need to maintain the sink condition. So when you are withdrawing, just for example, if you are withdrawing the 5 ml or the 1 ml from this receptor compartment, after withdrawing of the 1 ml, we have to add the fresh, fresh solvent, fresh vehicle into the receptor compartment. So due to this, what happens? Sink condition is maintained. So by this way, we can measure or we can determine the diffusions in vitro. That is the process or the methodology or the apparatus for the measurement of the diffusions. If you have any query, any doubt, you may ask. Thank you. Thank you very much.